let's talk about the Colorado Rockies. And I think it's honestly, there's not much to talk about. And I hate to say that, but mic check 1, 2, 3, is this thing on? Because that's what I'm really asking the Colorado Rockies. Last year, we had the WTF award for them with getting to sign Kris Bryant. We really didn't know why they signed that. They didn't pay Nolan Arenado. They wouldn't pay Trevor Story, although that seems to be working out in their favor. But they do go and sign Kris Bryant to a pretty big deal. Kris Bryant didn't have a great season at all by any means last year. Let's check in on him real fast. Let's go look at this outlook for Kris Bryant. Sean, I mean, did he really just sign a contract with Colorado to just basically kill his career? Is that what we just saw with Kris Bryant, just to gain the money and move out? Is that what just happened? Or is this something that we're going to see him resurrect back? I mean, I wasn't a huge Cubs fan when they went through their run, but watching Kris Bryant was pretty magical. Seeing him in Colorado just kind of fade out is really depressing for baseball.
Okay, so I think the first thing is we have to understand that he only played in 42 games, dealing with plantar fasciitis and a back issue. And I think the back issue was from lifting the big bag of money that he stole from the Rockies the previous winter. But but that being said, I think it's important that we recognize that he put up a weighted runs created plus of 125 last year in those 42 games. With an on-base percentage of 376, he hit 306, and he still put up almost a win, right, in just 42 games. So when Kris Bryant is healthy, there is no questioning his abilities and the numbers that he will put up. So the only question is why he's doing it in Colorado. That's the real question. So if he's healthy, he'll be just fine, and the Rockies fans will enjoy having him, and it'll be fine. But he's got to be healthy, and that plantar fasciitis. I'm no doctor, and I don't even play one on TV. But that's a thing that can continue to pop up and cause a whole lot of issues. I remember, even way back, like Troy Gloss had it when he was in Toronto, and it was a thing that kept lingering. So that'll be interesting to see if he can rebound and that put that behind him.
Although Colorado really didn't make any noise this offseason during the winter meetings, I think they're hibernating. They did have a departure. Carlos Estevez did head out to Los Angeles for the Angels. That was a pretty big hit, in my opinion. I think Estevez is a great reliever. But they did make a couple moves. On Tuesday, they did acquire Connor Siebold from the Boston Red Sox for a player to be named later in cash. That player to be named later is probably somebody who's not on the roster. Maybe it is. Who knows? I don't know if Boston wants anybody on this roster right now. They also go ahead and add Brett Suter to the bullpen. I think that's a good add. I will say that he's towards the right end of his career by far, but losing Estevez, getting Suter, I don't think it's a weighted pickup, but it's definitely something. And then they go ahead and I think is probably the most interesting addition here, Sean, is they add Nolan Jones. And I think this could be interesting only because they get him from the Cleveland Guardians. At one point, he was a very top prospect in the organization. It did seem like through reports that when he got farther up in the system, he started to not really listen to his hitting coaches. He was having some discipline issues. That could easily be fixed with a change of scenery. He can get back. What that means is that he has maybe some behavioral issues, but the potential is still there. So if he goes to a new change of scenery, he gets a new hitting coach that works well with him, he gets back that potential. We could see a pretty big jump and increase back to it. So I think Nolan Jones is a pretty interesting one. However, that's it. That's all Colorado's got. It seems like this, and let me know your thoughts on this. It seems like they are already punting on 2023, and they are ready to maybe make a big splash and surprise us in 2024. I don't know if that's the case, but my mind right now is saying that they're already ready to just punt and just send this one ready to get a nice 100 losses in the L column this year.
Yeah, man. I mean, this this Rockies roster, I honestly don't know. Are they punting for this season and next season? And I don't know what they're doing. I really have no idea how this Colorado Rockies front office thinks. They didn't, like you said, they didn't add much. They could have, but didn't. They didn't even, this is how bad their offseason was. Okay. Brendan Rodgers was getting attention. He was getting people interested. The name was out there. They decided they kept him. Okay, cool. That's fine. he's still got 3 more years of team control. He's still young and all that. Great, cool. Maybe they want to see if he can build up his offensive numbers and things like that. Cool. Then they were interested in Jurickson Profar, and now that's not even an option. So I don't know what they're doing. I would love to say, hey, Colorado Rockies fans, it's okay. You've got Nolan Jones is coming, and he is going to put on a show in Colorado. That power is big time power, and that's exciting. But man, I don't know. Let him be a lesson for you, kids. Listen to your coaches, or you will be banished to play baseball in Colorado. That's the only thing that I can take away from Nolan Jones. That move, I think, it has potential to work out really well. Kind of like revitalize and give some attention back to the Rockies, which I think they deserve, because they were some exciting teams. Going back to like the Matt Holliday, that whole team. But this year, yeah, it's going to be bad. The bullpen is interesting for me, though. I think we should talk about how the potential is there. Daniel Bard, their closer, one guy who, and you mentioned Suter, but Dinelson Lamet is a guy who I have always been fascinated with. Lots of strikeout potential there. Hasn't been able to find consistent success, but this is a bullpen that actually, could be rather effective in Colorado. Pitching in Colorado is as effective as anybody can be there. But as back to your original question, this could have been a good offseason for them. But I think you're right. They even, there was a talk of maybe getting some pitching from Miami, because they're not going to, Colorado's never going to be able to sign top free agent pitching. Mike Hampton was the last one, I think, if I, off the top of my head. So you would have thought that a trade was coming. In Miami seems to have pitching that they're dangling everywhere. So I thought they may have lined up with a Brendan Rodgers, but I guess that's not happening. So yeah, I think back to your original question. Yep, they're definitely punting on this season for sure, at least.
Yeah, it's got to be. 68 and 94 last year. I'm taking the under. I think this is a 100-loss team. I hate to say it. I cannot wait till we get back to the point to where we can start talking in a positive light of the Colorado Rockies. It's just not there yet. Right now, I think they're absolutely punting on this season. When you look at the rest of this division, although the division games don't mean as much as they did last season, it's still obviously a big deal. The rest of the National League, I think this is the worst team in the National League this year. And I know that's not a far stretch from where they were last year, but I see them as a 100-loss team. I'm taking the under.
Yeah, I would agree. And it's not even just against like division rivals, fewer games against them. I think it's just the fact that they're just not going to win baseball games regardless of whether it's in the division. And that's really unfortunate, for their fans and so on. So I hope that it's a short-lived rebuild, if that's what we want to call it. I don't know what to call it, but yeah. I hope it's short-lived, whatever it is. But yeah, I'll take the under as well.
Yeah, they got to come down from Mile High, because right now it's just not working out for them.